The Treasury Secretary just went on live TV and accidentally revealed exactly how the government plans to use your property to solve America's $37 trillion debt crisis.
So what we've seen under the past 4 years, and what we inherited, I inherited 6.7% deficit to GDP, which was the highest deficit when we were not at war, not in a recession. So we've been trying to bring down the spending, and we are going to grow the revenue side. So we are going to grow the GDP faster than the debt grows, and that will stabilize the debt to GDP, which even Secretary Yellen and I agree is the most important number.
And if you don't understand what he just said, you're about to get financially destroyed. What you just heard wasn't some random politician making promises. This was the Treasury Secretary revealing how they're going to make you pay for the government's debt problem.
We are going to grow the GDP faster than the debt grows.
When he says grow the economy, he means inflate asset prices. When asset prices go up, guess what else goes up? Your property taxes, your capital gains taxes when you sell, your cost of living. They're not growing the real economy, they're growing the tax base, and your property is the biggest target on their list. Let me show you exactly how this works. You see, there are 4 ways they'll use your property to pay their debt. Method 1, the inflation tax. They print money. Your house goes from $300,000 to $500,000. Sounds great, right? Wrong. Now you owe property taxes on $500,000. When you sell, you pay capital gains on $200,000 you never really made. It's fake money, but the taxes are real. Method 2, the assessment trap. As home values rise, local governments reassess your property. Your $2,000 annual property tax becomes $4,000. If you can't pay, they force a tax sale. And guess who buys your property cheap? Government-connected investors. But here's the part that should make you furious. Method 3, the forced sale squeeze. Higher property taxes force people to sell. Every sale generates transfer taxes, recording fees, and resets the property tax at current inflated values. The government wins 3 times on every transaction. Method 4, the banking back door. Your mortgage is backed by government agencies. When they inflate the money supply, banks can lend more against your property. More debt secured by your home means more interest flowing to the financial system that funds government debt. Your property isn't just your asset anymore. It's collateral for the national debt. And I know this could sound kind of hopeless, but there is a way for you to get out. But you've got to understand that this isn't theory. They've done this before. Remember the 1970s? If you don't, here's what they did not teach you in school. Home values doubled. Sounds amazing, right? But property taxes tripled. Mortgage rates hit 18%. Millions of families lost their homes not because values went down, but because the carrying costs became impossible. The government collected massive property tax windfalls while families got destroyed. Someone in the comments of another video said, "At least my house value will go up." That's exactly what they want you to think. In Weimar, Germany, people owned houses worth millions of marks, but a loaf of bread cost 1 billion marks. Your property value means nothing if you can't afford to live in it. Here's the pattern. Inflate asset prices, tax the gains, force sales, repeat. Your property becomes a government ATM machine, and it's starting right now. Let me show you how each scenario drains your wealth. Scenario 1. The growth plan works. Tax cuts create a boom. Property values soar. Your $300,000 house hits $600,000. Congratulations. You now owe property taxes on $600,000. When you sell, you pay capital gains on $300,000 of fake gains. The government just doubled their take from your property. Scenario 2, inflation takes over, and this is most likely. They print money to fund the debt. Your house doubles in price, but so does everything else. You're not richer, you're just paying higher taxes on inflated values while your purchasing power shrinks. Scenario 2 is already happening, and here's the proof that nobody's talking about. Average property tax bills have increased 30% in the last 3 years, not because of new services, because of inflated assessments. They're already using your property to pay their bills. Now, scenario 3, Economic crisis. Values crash, but property taxes stay high based on old assessments. You're underwater on your mortgage, but still paying taxes like it's worth peak value. If you can't pay, tax sale. Government wins again. So here's how to protect yourself from becoming their ATM machine. And I know you're thinking, hey, there's nothing I can do here. That's what they want you to believe, but here's the truth. Strategy 1, the assessment challenge. Fight every property tax increase. Most people never challenge assessments. Those who do win 60% of the time. Make them prove your property's worth what they claim. Strategy 2, the homestead advantage. Max out every homestead exemption in your state. Some states cap property tax increases on primary residences. Use every protection available. Strategy 3, the real estate investor flip. If you can't beat them, join them. Buy rental properties with fixed-rate mortgages. Let inflation make your debt cheap while tenants pay the inflated property taxes. In the comments yesterday, I read, the system is rigged against regular people. You're absolutely right. But here's how to rig it back in your favor. Don't just own your home. Own income-producing real estate. Make the inflation tax work for you instead of against you. They can't cut spending, they won't default, and they can't stop printing money. So they're going to use your property wealth to make the debt look smaller. And you can do the same thing with income property. Smaller scale, but same game. And it's the only way to win in this system. The Treasury Secretary just revealed their playbook. Now I'm going to show you mine. It's the same strategy used by the wealthiest people that I know when governments try to steal their wealth. It's called the exploit and escape strategy. How to win while they drain everyone else. Step 1. Hedge with gold and Bitcoin. Remember what I said about Weimar Germany? People who held paper money got destroyed. People who held real assets survived. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. You hedge. Gold represents 5,000 years of stability when governments collapse. Bitcoin, the anti-dollar that can't be printed into oblivion. So allocate 5 to 10% of your portfolio across physical gold, cold-stored Bitcoin, and maybe some gold-backed ETFs. Here's the key. Gold doesn't go up. The dollar goes down. And they just told you the dollar is going down. Step 2, flip your thinking about debt. Most people fear debt. The wealthy use it as a weapon against inflation. Bad debt buys liabilities. Good debt buys cash flow. When they inflate away the debt using your property taxes, you can inflate away your debt using the same strategy. Get long-term, fixed, low-interest debt to control assets that pay you monthly. Step 3, secure cheap debt while you still can. Remember those 3 scenarios that I showed you? In all of them, credit gets tighter and more expensive. But right now, you can still get access via seller financing, subject to deals, wraparound mortgages, 0% business credit cards. Check it out at loopholelending.com. It's not for buying property, but maneuvering to buy property. Lock in credit before the system locks you out. Because when this debt crisis hits, banks won't be lending to regular people anymore. Step 4, buy income-producing real estate. Here's where you flip their game against them. They want to use your property to pay their debt. Fine. You use rental properties to pay yours. Real estate gives you rising rents, inflation protection, leverage, control big assets with small money, and tax breaks, legal wealth protection. Look for small multifamily properties, single-family homes, and landlord-friendly markets. Creative financing deals. That's how you pull it off. If it cash flows now, just wait until you refinance later, or watch your debt disappear completely during their collapse. Step 5, inflate your way to wealth. Here's the real cheat code they don't want you to know. Inflation makes your debt cheaper and your assets more valuable. Buy your assets with fixed rate loans. When inflation spikes, and the Treasury Secretary just told you it will, you're paying back that loan in weaker dollars while your rent and property values go up. That's how wealth is built quietly while everyone else gets crushed. And if the dollar collapses hard and fast, like if they reset the dollar's value, and this is another possibility, like Russia in 1998, Turkey in 2005, Zimbabwe in 2009, and Argentina just last year. If it were to happen here, your gold spikes, your debt shrinks, your assets survive. What once took a pound of gold to pay off today might only take an ounce to pay off tomorrow. That's the exploit and escape strategy. The Treasury Secretary just told you exactly how they plan to use your property to pay their debt. So the only question here is, will you be transferring your wealth to them, or will they be transferring wealth to you? There's no third option. Be their victim or make them yours. Choose. Hey, quick thing before you go. I'm running this weird experiment where I basically pay people to do real estate deals for them. And then I split the profits with them 50-50. And you can watch this right here to get all the details. And yeah, I know it's probably the most ridiculous offer that I've ever made, but it's working like crazy. And if you're thinking there's a catch, you would be right. I can only work with 2 to 3 people per city. So if you're curious, check out this video here to see if your market's still open. Or don't. It's not for everyone. Thanks for watching though. I'll see you next time. Take care.